Boy, Southern rock in the morning. You got to love that.
Yeah, we got a bunch of callers hanging on.
We do have a bunch of callers.
Get to those callers.
Let's get to a couple of them right now.
These are all random strangers, right?
These are all random strangers. Have no idea who these guys are whatsoever. But
never met them before.
Never met them before in their life. But first up, we have Ashley. Ashley, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good.
So I thank you very much for calling the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show this morning. I know you got a good question or a comment for Sean and Gina, and it's all yours.
Well, it's not so much a question, but Sean and Gina were actually able to help me and my husband get into what we literally consider our dream home.
Awesome. That is really good. How was the process? Now, were you a first-time home buyer? Or
no, we had our house built in 2002, and this was before we had children, and we didn't even take into consideration the school district when we had it built.
Wow, okay. So it turned out good, hopefully.
So when we realized that the school district was kind of going downhill and we wanted our daughters into a better school district, it was, my husband and I, we did not have the best credit, so we paid attention to what Sean told us to do. And I would say, what do you think, Sean, it was about, a year-long process?
I'd probably say a little less than that.
A little, yeah. When we actually got serious about it and stopped floundering.
So then once you got serious, it was less than a year?
Yes.
So you're saying you actually picked up your house and moved it to a different school district?
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what we did. No.
That's a new
technique.
technique.
We went from an 1,800 square foot house with an attached garage to a 2,600 square foot house with a detached.
How long ago did you move, by the way?
December 2014.
You know, so that's a very good point. That was a very hot. I mean, we're in a hot market now. That was a smoking hot market in 2014.
Yes.
Did you find it challenging to find a home at that time? Multiple offers?
To find a home, not really. The first time Sean and Gina sat down with us, I had a list of very specifics on what I wanted in a home, stuff that was non-negotiable and stuff that was. And I handed him a packet of neighborhoods with some red lines through some of the neighborhoods. I said, okay, anything in red, don't even look at. Because
Gotcha.
I knew exactly where I wanted to live.
It's always good when they have a really good idea of where they don't want to be.
Yes,
it narrows
exactly.
it down quite a bit.
It does. It narrows it down quite a bit right there. And it makes it a lot easier from the perspective of, okay, let's focus in on where you do want to be.
Absolutely.
So we can make this happen. Well, that is great, Ashley. We really appreciate you calling in and talking so highly, obviously, of Sean and Gina. They're great individuals. I personally, want to get more into the comic book talk, but it is a real estate show today.
Not happening today.
Yeah.
You have to do it at breakfast.
Can I say something on a personal note on them?
Yes.
When we were in the process of actually looking for our house while ours was on the market, I was recovering from knee surgery, and Sean was very sweet in the fact that he was chauffeuring me around, and it was exhausting because when we were looking, I was 4 days out from having had surgery. And when I was tired, we would just sit down on the steps of whatever house we were in, and we would take a few minutes to relax until I was ready to go again.
I remember that. You were a trooper. I was like, man, how is she doing it?
I wanted a new house. That's how I was doing
it. That's a motivated person right there.
Seriously.
That is some dedication. Well, we definitely appreciate you calling in today. Congratulations on your new home. Continue to enjoy it. How's your knee doing?
Oh, it's better.
Okay. That is awesome. Well, and continue to get better, and hopefully no more knee surgeries for a little while, okay?
Oh, here's hoping.
Sounds good, Ashley. Thank you very much for calling in.
Thanks, Ashley.
You're welcome. Y'all take care.
You too.
And that's a really good, interesting call, obviously, from the standpoint of, great marketplace. Talk to, obviously, what you said in regards to, sometimes buying a home isn't a matter of getting into it and you're going to get into something in 30 days. Sometimes you have to work through that process. It takes, oftentimes, we take loan applications and it takes a year. You have to work through that process, and having that follow-up and that persistency and that dedication and that client service are key to making that whole process enjoyable over that period of time.
Also demonstrates how important school districts are.
Yes.
because we talk about that a lot. And they rezone areas.
Right.
So you've got to be really clear and make sure that you verify
Yep.
where you go to where
You have to love that when you've got a bunch of listings and the client comes and says, "Here, these are all redlined," and you're like, "Oh, wait a minute, I have listings in there."
We don't use the term redline. We use another. These aren't acceptable properties. Redline
Right.
has a whole other story.
Redlining is a whole different subject right there. So, but, we're going to continue on some of these phone calls right here. Charles is up next. Charles is calling in to say hello to Sean and Gina. Charles, how you doing?
Oh, man, I'm having a wonderful day. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
We're doing great. You're stuck outside. We're stuck inside.
Something like that.
Sounds good.
I just wanted to say, guys, man, I was a single man with a son on the way, one son. But the young lady that had my son already had 4 children. And when I met Sean, I was looking for a specific house in a specific area, and I wanted a resale home. And Sean, the thing is, I'm a salesman, and I'm very direct, and I know what I want. And Sean was like, "Do you really want that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because I want to spend $700 a month. I want to buy a foreclosed home." I thought I knew what I wanted. And he stopped me. And he says, "Is that really what you want? Do you want to have to go home and work on your home, or do you want to have to go home and hug your baby and take care of him?" And so we went through the process, but I knew exactly where I wanted to be. The second time we went out to a property, it was exactly where I wanted to be, and I wanted a garden tub. If it didn't have a garden tub, it wasn't going to happen.
I remember that.
So I walked into the bathroom, first time ever where the bathroom had a separate door for the toilet, and it had a garden tub. I was sold.
It goes back to no one buys a whole house; they always buy a part house.
They bought
I've
it,
got to
yeah.
ask, how many
Right.
times have you used that garden tub since you bought that
Bathroom.
house? How many times have you used that tub since you bought that?
Oh man, we've done well. I started when I met Sean. I had one son and I had 4 children by marriage that I accumulated. Needless to say, we added 2 more to those ranks. So
Oh,
you can
wow.
just imagine we put in some effort with that.
That's a lot of
that
Mr.
tub.
Bubble right there.
So it's fair to say the tub worked.
It worked.
So that's awesome. That's awesome.
That is really good. So, Mr. Bubble is a big purchase in your household, right?
Absolutely. You know, the thing is, I really appreciate. I can't say enough. You know, the value of not just having a person to sell you something, but to have a person come to you, listen to what you're saying, look at your life, and say, you know, you have one child, but there's more children here. Now we're in the same house. We have 7 children. We have 3 full bathrooms. We have all this space, but that wouldn't have happened had I stuck to my guns and got an older home. And with all those individuals in an older home, we would have had to move much faster. And now we still have some life in this house, and in a few years, we can move again. And if I do, I'll definitely be going back to Sean.
Hire a professional. Listen to what they had to tell you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I would absolutely agree. And make sure you get the right tub.
Yeah, right there. It could grow your family and save your marriage.
Amen to that.
I tell you what, I don't know how you do it with 7. I struggle with 2.
You know, I don't ask questions.
You just do, right? Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
That's
ma'am. May I
right.
have another?
That's right.
And now you got spring break coming up, so you'll have to deal with that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
The funniest thing about that, you know, because we got our house at the time we got our house, our note is so reasonable. So, you know, for spring break for our family, it's not like spring break for other families. They say, hey, I'm getting a season pass.
Right.
But they say, you know, it's a family of 4. So it's like when we walk in, it's a family of 9.
Wow.
Because we saved money, now able to really enjoy not just the house, but I'm able to enjoy my life. So I'm happy that I had Sean back then, because if I hadn't, I could be in a very bad situation now having to buy a house in this market. The house that I bought now would cost me maybe $30,000, maybe $40,000 more,
Well, you'd still
That
be
is
working on
true.
it instead of calling into the show.
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Exactly. So,
That is awesome. Well, Charles, thank you very much for calling in and talking so highly of Sean and Gina.
Thank you, Charles.
Anytime.
We appreciate it, bud.
Thank you.
You know, and that's a very good point what he said also, and you always talk about this, Rob, is individuals buy homes for, generally speaking, a specific item they like most in that home. It's not the whole home.
They
right?
always buy a part of a home, not a whole home.
Right.
Something at a visceral level grabs them.
Right.
And in this case, it was a garden tub.
It was a garden tub, exactly. And I relate to them, by the way, because I'll tell you what, every once in a while it's good just to go, put on the suds, hang out there, and not worry about anything.
Well, there's Mr. Bubble in your future, too.
Oh, I've got Mr. Bubble all over the place. Trust me. I've got no problem with it. So that's all good stuff. We still have some more calls to go, but guess what?
Coming up against a break.
We're coming up against a break again. So we are going to take a break. Give us a little bit. We'll be right back with Sean and Gina for a little bit more.
Very good.
No more. We both know we can't go without it. She told me you'll never be alone. I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it.